Hello, my beautiful friends. How's everybody doing today? I hope everybody's doing great. Thank you so much for joining me. I just love it when we get together and hang out. And that's what we're going to be doing today. But I'm also going to be sharing some tricks and techniques that I have learned along the way. Some that, I had seen a long time ago and I brought it back into my routine just to see if it works. And, some of the stuff I'm going to be sharing, well, all of the stuff I'm going to be sharing is what has been working for me. So, I have hooded eyes, so I'm going to share some stuff with that. I pretty much given up on the wing eyeliner situation, so I'm going to be sharing what I'm doing instead. So hopefully that sounds good to you. And if it does, please stick around because we're about to get into all that right now. Okay, so before we start, let's address the elephant in the room, this long hair that I have going on here. So I saw this girl, her name is Cher Bear. I think she's not over here on YouTube as well, but she's mostly over on TikTok and Instagram, but I'll put all her information down below. She's awesome, honestly. I just adore her. She is just fabulous with her eyeshadow. She can do something really crazy and just like seconds. So make sure to follow her because she's around our age. So yeah, someone we can relate to. And yeah, but anyway, I had seen her reviewing these. It's like a halo, I don't know, hair extension type situation. And I seen her, wearing it and I'm like, oh my gosh, have I not seen her in a long time? Has her hair grown that much? But then she started reviewing. I'm like, oh, okay. And it just looks so beautiful and natural on her. So I said, okay, I'm going to go check out this website. Well, I got 2 halo extensions for $60. So the only downfall is that the shipping was kind of slow. I want to say it took about 10 days, but it's not too bad. But yeah, it was a little slow. So it comes automatically curled. This is a 14-inch. And what else? It's off black. So yeah, I had seen her wearing it. So I was super excited. So I went over and ordered it. The other one is completely straight and I have not worn that one yet. I tried curling it today just to see if you could, and it didn't ruin it. It didn't fry or anything like that. It just wouldn't hold a curl. So that's the only thing. So maybe I'm just using the wrong curling iron or whatnot. But anyway, I just wanted to address the elephant in the room. So with today's video, I am going to have my big magnifying mirror here just to help me out because yeah, I'm just going to be showing things that I do, like a lot of the stuff behind the scenes. So the first tip that I could suggest to you is if you have dry skin, always make sure that your skin is really hydrated. I do have a dry, mature skin, by the way. I have a lot of pores, texture under my eyes are like the Sahara Desert. They're just super dry all the time. So that is something that I'm constantly fighting with. I have a hooded eyes. As you can see, they're pretty bad. So if I'm just relaxed, I almost look like I'm mad. I get that a lot. And I've trained myself to almost pull back, do like a facelift because as you can see, how I can almost do that. So, yeah, so they're pretty bad. You can hardly even see my lid anymore. I'm starting to get a lot of, wrinkles and all of that. So, I don't know, it just seems like it keeps getting worse and worse. So, I've had to learn to adjust my makeup. So you will have to learn, every few months or, 6 months, maybe a year, you're going to have to change the placement. And yeah, it's a struggle if you do have hooded eyes. There are a lot of beautiful actresses that have hooded eyes and, they make it work. So we can make it work. You can always get, like a surgery performed, that's not out of my cards. I might someday, but as of right now, I'm going to work with what I have. Another thing is I do shave my face like every few days. And there's several reasons why I do that. And I did a video upstairs. I'll just place that here while I'm talking. Is there's so many different reasons. First of all, it gets, rid of that peach fuzz. So your makeup's going to look really pretty and smooth over, on your skin. You're not competing against all that peach fuzz or hair. The second reason is it gets away, gets rid of all of your dead skin. So it's like an exfoliator. And also it does help with your skincare to penetrate a little deeper. So yeah, that's why I shave my face because I've just, found so many benefits through that. Now, A lot of people think that you're going to grow a beard, it's going to come back thicker. I've never had that situation. As you guys know, I do have that laser thing that has really helped a lot. But even if I didn't have any hair, I would still use the razor because it does take away that dead skin. I mean, you can just see it flying away. So that's why I think I always will do it. And I use, it's called Tinkle, I believe. I get like a pack of 12 on Amazon for relatively very cheap. And like I mentioned, my eyes are just, I'm competing with the hood, and I'm also competing with, puffiness in the morning. I don't get a lot of sleep. So if you have that same problem too, I do find using like those little bulbs that I have showed you guys 100 times. You put them in your freezer, and it really does help depuff the eyes, and it does help with my serums. Now, I do put my serums on prior to doing that around my face, and then I go in with my lotions and stuff like that and sunscreen. But with the serum, I just feel like it does help it soak in, lock it in. Yeah, I love using those bulbs. Now, do I do this every day? Absolutely not. I do it if I'm going, out to an event. If you have the time, absolutely do it every day. It's not going to hurt. Okay, so let's get into the tutorial part. We're going to start with my eyes, and I'm just going to be showing you guys some techniques. None of this is groundbreaking whatsoever. I haven't come up with this on my own. This is things that I have seen that maybe I have tweaked a little bit, but these are not original things. So trust me on that. So don't come at me like, oh my gosh, I've seen this 100 times, because I'm sure you have. But, a lot of times we do things and you kind of forget. You go, oh my gosh, yeah, you know what, I should do that or try that again. I remember seeing that. So that's what I thought this video would be good for, is just reminders, just to bring things back into your routine, just to see if it works. Okay, now my first tip with any kind of if you use any kind of eyeshadow, is to use like a primer. Now, everybody's preference is different. I like my primers to conceal any redness, discoloration. So that's why I use this one here. And it's not super tacky. Now, it is a little tacky where your shadows could skip or something like that. So I will tell you what I do in that situation. But I want something that's really going to grip and really does help with creasing, because again, I'm going to be saying this a lot with the hooded eyes, you do tend to get a lot of creasing. So I like this one. I get it on Amazon, and it's very inexpensive. So that is what I use. But a lot of people, just like I said, you have your own preference on eye primers. Okay, so the palette I'm going to be using today is this one here. I saw our friend here, Michaela. You guys have heard me talk about her many times. I'll place her channel over here. But anyway, she had done a look over on Instagram. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to pull that palette out. And so it's the Mirage one by Alter Ego. It's, really affordable, and this is what it looks like. So I'm sure it's a dupe to something. They always dupe something. So I believe it was a Huda one, because these two here are creams, and yeah, they're really nice. Now, you can use those several different ways. I will not be using those today, but just want to let you know those are creams. But it almost looks like two palettes. This side is really warm. This side, has some plums, and it's just absolutely beautiful. I used this shade on an Instagram post or something the other day. I'll place that picture here, and it turned out absolutely stunning. So today with my outfit, I think I'm going to go with a warm side. Let's place this shade here, the lightest shade in the palette. If you don't have a super light shade in your palette, just use, what is it? Translucent powder, just to, like I said, make that base not so tacky. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm not trying to create tons of color or anything. I'm just laying down something that the eyeshadow isn't just going to grab really bad and make it difficult to not, blend out. Okay, so now what I suggest you do, especially if you have hooded eyes. So this basically is a part for hooded eyes here. So I'm going to start with the darkest shade of this side here, and I'm going to place that Oh, is this the brush I want to use? No, that wasn't the brush I wanted to use. I wanted to use something a little dense. Now, these are the Rose and Ben brushes, and this is the E28. These are a little pricey, but Elf has some, as long as it's a little dense, just to give it some, you'll see why. I'm just going to place that on the brush here. Again, that shade, because I'm basically going to just tap it. And I find if the brush is a little bit more firm, it makes it much easier. So right now, I am just laying like a blueprint of where I want this. Now, as you can tell, because I have hooded eyes, I'm going to be going like this and this a lot because I want that dark shade to really show. And a lot of times, if you guys see my videos, if you really look, when my eye gets relaxed, you can't even see it. And the problem, or I'm going to say my problem, is I tend to like look at myself and go, oh my gosh, this just seems really bold, or I'm just not used to it because we're not, usually we are just using really soft colors or whatnot, but I'm trying to show you more of a dramatic look if you really want your shadows to pop. If you're going to an event, if getting your picture taken. So now I just cleaned that same brush and I'm just going to smooth around the edges, and I'm going to place just a little bit here on this outer corner. And you're going to want to know your eye shape. If you want it more cat eye, I tend to do that because it kind of elongates my eye because they're kind of very small and squinty. So that's why I do that. Okay, then I go in with a more fluffy brush. So I'm just going to use a Rose and Ben as well. And this one is the E29. So now where I'm going to go is actually this shade right here, believe it or not. You could use, just a lighter shade and really just soften that. But again, I want this a little dramatic. So I'm just tapping it in here. And then I am going to tap it off pretty good. And then what I'm going to do is just go around these edges just to really smooth that out. Now, I will say this part, I am using the lightest hand possible. I have found if I use a super light hand, I find that the shadows just blend more seamless, just more seamlessly than if I'm using a lot of pressure. It just starts looking sloppy really quick. So right now I'm just going to take my time, and sometimes this could take, a minute or two, but it's all worth it. So I'm just going to grab just a little bit more and blend that out. So that is basically all I'm going to do at that point right here. Now, if I had a really bright light shade, I might go around the brow bone, or you can just take some translucent powder, and I'm going to show you what I do. Right now I'm using like a natural hair brush, and I'm just going to go around the edges. And also you can use, foundation, anything, and it really just softens everything up. And then also, if you thought that that was too bold, you can go over it with a translucent powder and a fluffy brush, and that would tone it down. But I kind of want it a little bold today. Okay, so for a shimmer, what I've been doing is, it's nothing, new, is I just go in with, any shade that I'm finding that I want this look to be, and I just start playing around. Now, this is where I run into a problem because as you can see, my lid, you can hardly even see it. So I find that I have to place it almost in my crease. As you can see, there's a crease here, but you can't see it naturally. But I just kind of feel it with my finger, and I just place it in there. And if you guys have been following me for a while, you know that I like using several different shimmers. So now I'm just going to go in with this shade here, and I'm just going to use my pinky. Now you can use tools, a brush, your fingers. This part really doesn't matter. It just, what is comfortable for you. Like a lot of times I will go and use one of these, you know, old school sponges. And it's really nice because you can kind of be a little bit more precise. And a lot of people don't like using their fingers. So that's when that comes in handy. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with the brush that I have this orange shade on it. And I'm just going to go right above where that shimmer is. And I'm also going to grab, I think, just a little, I don't know if I want to do that. You could always go in with like really deep a shade on that outer edge, and let's just try it. I'm going to use this shade here. It's more like a burgundy, so we're going to see how that looks. So I'm just going to place just a little bit on this outer corner, and I'm also going to sweep that into that shimmer just so it doesn't look like a harsh line. And I'm just going to focus pretty much on this outer edge right here. Now, I don't care that it looks sloppy because I'm going to show you what I'm going to do in just a minute. So right now it does kind of look a little crazy. Okay, so that is about it. You know, I just wanted something a little bold, but also a little basic. So that's all I'm going to do right now. I'm going to do the other eye. I'll come back and then we're going to move on to eyeliner. For eyeliner, here we go. This is, you know, I have given up on, yeah, the wing eyeliner because I struggled, you guys. I would practice, you know, at night. I would, you know, be up all night, you know, wiping my eyes, trying it. I just have given up because, you know, there comes a time when you're like, okay, it's just not going to work for me. And if you're in the same situation, this is going to be a really beneficial for you because you know what? Not every eye will accept. I don't care. You know, people will probably argue with this, but not every eye I don't think will accept the big, bold, you know, cat wing eyeliner without it looking crazy. Because I would start and I would mess up every time. And by the end, I look like those, you know, those funny videos where they're making fun of it and where their whole eye is black because it just didn't work. So I have found using like a gel eyeliner or even eyeshadow has worked out much easier for me than trying to fight with a felt tip you know, pencil and all that. Yeah, and especially as I get older, I'm finding that this is just a little bit more soft. And yeah, I just find it better for me. So again, if you're in the same situation and you struggle like crazy with the wing eyeliner, let me suggest you try that. So I'm going to get a little closer here. And again, if this is going to, you know, it's going to be in the way, but I have to have it. Okay, so now I'm just going to decide what shade of pencil I want to use. And I've been using these, I think it's Revent. They sent them to me, and these are amazing. They stay on forever. They are waterproof like nobody's business. So the shades I brought down though was green, brown, and gray. So I think I'm actually, hold on, let me fix my lighting. It's always going out. So today I was thinking about brown, but maybe we'll do the green just so you guys can see it just a little better. So yeah, again, these are just like little gel eyeliners. I find gel eyeliners are a little easier to work with. They glide across the eye a little easier. Now, right? Do not come after me. Do not come after me. Let me explain a little something. A lot of people go crazy if people take their eye and do this, but if you really think about it, go watch, you know, a makeup artist when they're applying it on a client, they always tend to pull it back. Now, I'm not saying, you know, stretch it way back. No, but pulling it, you know, making it just a slightly taut is not going to cause tons of wrinkles. You know, we smile is going to, you know, cause more wrinkles than that. So yeah, a lot of people just lose their minds when they see people do that. But sometimes it's needed, especially if you have a lot of loose skin, which I do. I'm just fighting constantly. So do not feel bad if you have to do that. You guys never see me do it on camera, but yeah, off camera, I do it a lot. So I'm sharing my secrets with you. Okay, so my first suggestion is to start just a little bit. I'm not really putting it on my waterliner. I'm trying not to. And I'm just trying to go like in between the lashes basically. And just kind of stamping all around there just to create just a little bit of depth through there. And now I am going to, and I'm going to make it a little taunt. I'm going to go as close as possible to my lash line. And I'm not going to my inner corner because I don't want it super bold through there because that's really going to close off my eye. So a lot of times I'll just stop pretty much, you know, at the center of the eye coloring there, I guess, iris or something. And I will just start, you know, stop there. But lately I've just been going just slightly right there in the inner corner. Okay, now this is where the wing comes in play. So let me get my backup thing here going. And what I do, honestly, you don't have to be super precise and nothing. You just have to almost know your eye, like just going from your lower lash line up. And let me also suggest something, what you can do. And I have seen people do this as well, is just place like a little bit of translucent powder. And this will just be like a little guide and just kind of place it. Hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing. So I'm angling it down towards my lower lash line. So I have my powder there. So now I know kind of, you know, a good placement for this liner here. So I like to put my pinky on my face here just as to make things sturdy. And then I like to go almost backwards. Now, you don't have to, but for me, it just works out easier. And I just drag it till I get, you know, you have to trust that process. But as you can see, there's a huge gap there now. So now I'm just going to fill in everywhere. Now, at this point, you can just take your, you know, pull it back just slightly and just fill in all those places that you want. So that is what that looks like. So I do have a slight wing. It's nothing crazy, but it's not super sharp. That's when I take a makeup wipe, or you can take concealer, whatever you want to use. But I like using a makeup wipe because it's going to also clean up the eyeshadow that I want cleaned up. And I'm just going to take it and move straight up just like that. And if I have to go back and do it again, okay. And now I just take, this is a tip from Allie Glines. She does that all the time. And you just tap it just to make it so it's not that sharp edge. So now I'm going to come closer. And as you can see, how that wing is pretty darn good, and you can still see it at rest. It's not super crazy, it's not super bold, you know, it's not going clear up my face here. It's just very subtle. So that's what I've been doing, and honestly it just works out so much better for me. I'm not getting frustrated with myself, I'm not giving up, you know. It's just yeah, that it just makes it so much easier. So let's do the side really quick. So I'm just placed a little bit of that translucent powder, again, because each eye is a little different. And try to, I forgot to mention that, try to relax the eye as much as possible, just so you know exactly where to place that. And again, I'm just going to tight line slightly. Yeah, I had to move my mirror so you guys can see what I'm doing. Okay, so now again, I'm just going to go as close as possible to my lash line. And I find too, like a lot of times just stamping across the lid makes it just easier instead of trying to drag it all across. And now again, I'm just going to go backward. And sometimes I just have to go over it a couple times. And like I said, just fill in those spaces. You can always clean it up with a makeup wipe. So as you can see, it's kind of sloppy, but when I use my makeup wipe, no, that was right. I almost put like my fingernail, just so I can get it pretty sharp. And again, I'm just going to take that up and tap it out. And now we got that wing. And I think they're pretty even. And because they are so subtle, no one's really going to tell if it's not the same length, the same width, anything. So that is my tip to you. That's what's been working for me. Again, the same concept. If you want to just use an eyeshadow, which you guys see me do all the time, what I do is just, take a lot of my eyeshadow and I'll either use like it's called a mixing medium. Miss AOA has one, and NYX, and I just, make it into like a liquid eyeliner, and I would use this actually right here, an angled brush to do that, or a really pointy brush. So, and you can also use setting spray to do that as well. So that is my tip for that part of the eye. So as you guys seen how easy that was. Okay, so let's go into the complexion really quick. This video is going to be so long. I can feel it. Okay, so here's another tip. If you have an oily T-zone or oily skin, what I do is go in with some makeup wipes, oil absorbing wipes, and I just use these what is this called, Zorams or something. I get them off Amazon. You can find them anywhere. This one is just like a charcoal one, and what I'm doing is just taking off any skincare that has not absorbed and any oils that's already started. My T-zone tends to be oily, more oily in the summer. But yeah, there's hardly much going on today. Okay, if you have pores or even texture, I suggest using like a pore filler. Now, the best one that I have ever used or found is this one here, Maybelline Master Blur Stick. I absolutely love this one. There's other forms. There are the putty from e.l.f. There's a liquid, more silicone feeling through Miss AOA. But this one tends to be my favorite, the one I always go back to. So it is a stick. And let me come closer and hopefully you guys will see what this does. And I like to even go over my fine lines through here and through here. And of course on my nose, I have a lot of pores there, right here, here, and these little fine lines here, or where I'm starting to droop. So pretty much my whole face. And then you really want to press that into the skin, because if you don't, it will kind of sit, or your makeup will just sit on top of it. So you really want to press those into the pores. Okay, so as you can see how that really does blur that and fill in those pores are pretty good. You remember underpainting? People used to do that all the time. Well, yeah, that's what I've been doing lately, especially because a lot of my foundations, if they're too light, this really does help. And I find I use less foundation doing this. So let's do underpainting today. So what I like using when I do that is either a stick bronzer or a putty bronzer. But if you use a putty bronzer, you're going to want to almost go in precisely and then blend it out. I feel like if you go in just with a big brush, it kind of makes a mess, and you're not as precise. So anyway, you're going to be, a little bit more generous than normal. And I like placing that right here. I have a more round face, so that's what I'm trying to kind of sink that in. And I have a shorter forehead, so I'm only going on the outer part of the forehead. Now, if you're, have a longer forehead, you're going to want to cover more of that. So, and my nose, I don't dislike my nose. I just like adding, I think, a little color here, and it will kind of shape it slightly. And then I like placing it under my lip just to create a little bit more fullness, and to put definitely here, this is where I focus a lot, is to really thin this part out, because I do have a double chin. So I'm basically putting it on the double chin part, and I'm trying to sink that so I have more of a sharper edge. Okay, so I got that all set, and then I'm going to be using my e.l.f. Camo blush here, and I'm going to place not a lot because this is pretty potent, but it probably won't make a difference because I am placing the what is it, foundation over. Now, don't judge me. My NYX broke. So now I'm just going to place a little bit of highlighter right there. So let's get into a blending. So what I'm going to do is just, and you really don't have to be super precise with the blending, because again, you're going to go over this with a foundation. And that's what I kind of like about this as well. Oh, I almost lost my mirror here. Is, you know, you don't have to be super precise. So honestly, you could be out the door pretty quickly doing this. So I'm trying to avoid that blush. Sometimes you can't, you know, but I'm trying to. So I'm trying to focus here, not going down too far. And then take it along in the nose. And again, I'm not blending it in completely. I'm just trying to add color. Yeah, I just find this is just, I don't know, it just looks more natural. Okay, so now I am going to take actually that same brush and I'm going to clean it out, and I'm going to just blend in that blush and the highlighter a little bit. And you might have to use your finger with that highlighter because it is a stick one. And just blend that in. That is such a beautiful blush. They have some new camo lipsticks or lip glosses or something. I don't know. I ordered them. So they are coming, but I was super excited because I do like their camo line. Everything is just really, I don't know, beautiful. So it's just very long lasting, smoothing. So I'm actually going to add just a little bit more because I do want this to show through the foundation. Okay, so that's where we are right now. Okay, but as you can see though, it really does carve out, and I do drag it down the neck just so you guys know. And then also, you know, with your foundation, if it's too dark, it's not going to make a difference. You're not going to have that big sharp ledge. But as you can see, it just creates that shadow to where it just looks a little thinner through that area. And yeah, it just created my face to look more elongated. If you ask me, I could be seeing things. I don't know. But I just find that that just seems to make me happy. Okay, now when I do underpainting, I really find like this kind of foundation is really good, like a pot, I guess, or a cream foundation. So this one is the Cover FX, and this is in the shade, it just says L1. Now, another one that I use it with, been doing this technique with is the L'Oreal Ageless. That one, the Tinted Balm. I absolutely love that balm foundation because it's so hydrating. But today I just wanted to be a little fancy, and I haven't used this on the channel like since I reviewed it basically. But as you can see, it's very well loved. I do use it quite often, but it is pretty full coverage. So you got to go in just really lightly. You can always build up. So right now I'm just going all along where I placed that, you know, I'm not really going over the bronzer or the blush as much as possible. And I actually even use this as my concealer, you guys. And that's another thing I wanted to tell you or share with you is whatever I've been using as my foundation, I'm just using as my concealer. And most of the time it works out just fine because it's just so creamy, where like a concealer, I just find, you know, a lot of times it can be a little bit drying, and it just looks horrible on my, under my eyes. But a foundation, you know, it's just a little bit more creamy. Now, the only thing is sometimes with that, when that happens, it can crease, but I just set it with powder or setting spray and it's just fine. Okay, so all the foundation is pretty much applied. As you guys noticed, I hardly went over where I had the blush. You know, I just kind of avoided that area and where I had the bronzer. And then what I do always is go in with a sponge, and this is, you know, just slightly damp. I mean, no water's coming out of here. What I do is I do clean mine every single night when I'm doing my face. It's just part of the routine. I wring it out in a towel, place it in a dish, and then it's the perfect, you know, I guess wetness the next day. So Now I just go in and I'm going to press all of that foundation. And I'm looking, where it might look a little cakey. It's going to pick up any excess that you don't need. Then you can go back into your foundation if you need a little bit more in areas. So that's why I just love doing both. I love applying with a brush and then going back in to really, I guess, seal the deal with a sponge. So that looks really good. And then also too, I do like to use my sponge to really press under the eyes and really have that press into those under eyes. Okay, so that looks really good. Now, you could always go back in, add a little bit more, whatever's left on the brush. I don't have anything, I didn't add anything, and just go over where you would like a little bit more color, where it may have gotten covered up too much by the foundation. So as you can see, look how natural that looks, and it really just took only minutes to do. Okay, and then for setting my face, I do like using a powder. Very rare will I not use a powder. This is super creamy, so I feel like it does need to be a set. Anything that's really creamy, emollient, anything like that, you would want to use a powder. More dry foundations, I can get away with not using one, but in this case, I'm going to. So the best ones that I find, I like loose powders mostly, but my favorite loose ones is this Wet n Wild. It's a very close dupe to the Laura Mercier, which I absolutely love as well. But this one is just very, a lot more cost effective, and you get a lot of product. So I'm just going to tap a little bit into the lid here. And then what I do is take my brush, and I love using this brush here. It's the BK Beauty 104 to apply my powders, because what I'm doing is really pressing that into the bristles just like that. Tap off any excess. And then I just go in very lightly. I'm not using as much powder as you would think. I'm just putting a very light layer just to lock everything in place, to get that stickiness or tackiness off. But then around my nose, I do go back and I really buff it in there, because again, I get super oily through this area here. Also, I wear glasses, so that's why I just place a little bit more powder there. But I find if you buff it in, it doesn't look powdery whatsoever. So that is all the powder I use. And then I just kind of determine if I need any powder under the eyes. I really don't, but I'm going to show you another little tip or trick. And I'm going to place, whatever's in this cap here. And I'm just going to really press that into this inner corner and slightly go on the outer corner, grab a little bit more, tap it on the back of my hand, make sure there's no creasing, and set that. Okay, so if I look though and go, that looks a little bit creepy, what I do is, this here is such a lifesaver. It's called Delba. You guys have seen me use this 1,000 times on the channel. This is a wonderful spray. I use it before I apply my skincare. I use it sometimes just to blend, over my foundation, to blend everything in. So it's just like a multitasker, but it's called the Delba, and it's the aroma or first spray a serum. So it does have like a little bit of, I don't know, avocado oil, like the truffle. That's what it is, white truffle. So you got to shake it up really good, and then I just spray my sponge, kind of tap off that, excess on there, and then I just go slightly over where I put that powder, and it will just smooth it right down, and it's also going to give it hydration and everything. So if your makeup looks really crepey or just looks really cakey, apply this, and then you can even do your face and, you know, use your sponge. So wonderful, wonderful little spray there. Okay, and for mascaras, I really have no tip for that. Of course, just curl them always. That really helps, you know, lift the lashes. It does kind of open the eye a little bit more. And I do not like applying mascaras. I think I mentioned it before, but it's just so tedious. And if I can find a mascara that I can just do one coat, I'm happy. I'm very picky with them. I don't like it if it, you know, transfers up here and I can't flick it off easy. So those are my only rules or whatnot when I pick out my mascaras. So this one I do want to mention though, is by Swede. It's a little bit more, you know, costly or pricey, but it's just an amazing mascara. I can get away with like one coat and it looks really good. Also, another one that I could do that with is the Lawless One and Done. So those are the two I really reach for the most. So I'm just going to apply 2 coats. I'll come back and you guys can see how lifted this mascara really makes my lashes. You know, as I was sitting here thinking, I'm like, wait a minute, I do have something I could share with you guys. So when I apply my mascara, I do make a huge mess. The hooded eyes come into play a lot. So I find if I look down in a mirror and just put it at the base of my lashes and just kind of blink, and you can kind of wiggle, that really helps really cover all the lashes. Now, if you're super messy, there are shields. I have used that on my channel before. I'll place that right here. So what it basically does is you have like the shield and you just do this, or you can just use this and you could just apply and it won't transfer to the upper lid. Okay, so that is about 2 coats, maybe 1.5 of that mascara. As you can see, yeah, it really lifts the lashes, creates length and volume, and it's really easy to apply. Like I said, I can get away with 1 coat, and I hardly have any transfer today. That's pretty shocking. I do have a little spot here, and what I use is a spoolie. I just find that that works the best, just to remove any transfer or anything like that. And also if you have like a lot of glitter that's like in the wrong spot, you know, you went too high, use like a spoolie. It's just easier to get that glitter off than trying to wipe it away. Okay, so let's do the lower lash line, and I have been using eyeliner on the lower lash line ever since I got these because, again, well, my eyes water a lot if you're new. They watered, you know, just constantly. So any kind of like eyeliner that I would place under my eyes, it would just go away. Well, this is so waterproof that I can do that now. So I'm going to use the green, I think, again. So I was debating maybe the brown. I don't know. Ooh, it's a hard decision. You know what? Let's use the brown. I know you guys might be screaming at me. No, you'd use the green, but yeah, let's not go overboard here. So what I've been doing actually is, believe it or not, which is I thought it would never work for me, but these liners here, these eyeliners, are just very age appropriate. And actually that's what they are meant for, is for mature women. So it has just like the perfect amount of pigment to where it's not closing off my eye and making it just so loud. So that's what I love about them. And then I'm just going to go slightly like I did on the upper lash line. And then what I do is use like a smudging brush here. So it looks like that, or you can use whatever you want, but I just find like this kind of brush works the best. And this is my alter ego. And what I'm going to do is go back into my palette here. And I think I'm going to use this pretty brown shade and just place a little bit on my brush, where you could add a lot of color under the eyes too. And that's going to make it look really pretty, make it pop. But, you know, I just want to keep it a little bit more subtle. And then what I do is just add a little bit right below where I added that liner. And it just, makes it look a little bit more soft. And again, if you messed up, you really won't be able to tell. So I'm just going to blend that again up into the upper part just to make everything look a little bit more cohesive. And then if you really want to amp up your look, make it look really pretty, I love taking like a shimmer and just placing just a little bit and placing it all along. You can even place it all along the lash line. I just think it looks so pretty. Adds just a little bit of something to the look. Okay, so we're almost done. Even though this video is going to be forever. Okay, so I have not said this enough on my channel. You guys know how much I talk about it. But setting spray, I do want to talk about that. But as of right now, I do want to add just a little bit more blush. I think I just need a little bit more color. So what I brought down at this point is a powdered powder blush. And I'm using this one by ColourPop, and it's called Claim It. I love this blush because it's so smoothing on the skin. Another great blush is by Eyeliner. You guys know how I love her blushes, but yeah, I've been using it a lot lately. So I'm going to use this one. It's really pretty, but I am going to use her brush. And I'm just going to place a little bit, just to add a little bit more color back into the cheeks. Yeah, I love her brush because you can never go overboard somehow. It just places just enough of the product where you almost have to go and build up more because I know that this blush is super pigmented. So yeah, that's what I love about it. So I'm just going to place a little bit here on the forehead and a little bit on the nose. Okay, so setting spray. I cannot express this enough, my love for setting sprays, because I think it just changes the look completely. If you apply a bunch of makeup and it looks just really powdery, you look dry, you look dehydrated, setting spray will save the day. So, and your makeup will last longer. So my two favorite, or two that I reach for the most, is this one here, Turtur. I get this on Amazon, and Fablux. Now they're not super cheap, but they're not out of crazy high priced either. I think, well, this one I got for $15 on sale. So, you gotta watch those sales on Amazon, but normally I think they're like $20. So just shake that up, and I am not shy with my setting sprays whatsoever. So I'm just going to douse my face, and then I place it on a sponge, a few sprays there, and then I just take my mirror and tap it out just a little bit. Again, I'm going to set that under the eyes, just like I did with the Delba. And then I just kind of go around and press it all into the skin, really melt that into the skin, make it less powdery. And I like using like a natural finish setting sprays. They have matte setting sprays and all that, but this is more like a natural finish. So it's going to give me like a slight glow, which I absolutely love. Okay, let's get into the lips, and then we are done. There's really nothing, crazy about the lips. Except that I will say this lip liner is amazing. It's the Maybelline Lifter, and this is the shade On It. I absolutely love these, and normally I would never buy one that I have to sharpen, but they sharpen easy. They're super creamy, and I honestly think using a lip liner is necessary. I never used to believe in them. But it can always change like the whole look of a lipstick. If you don't like it, you can, alter it with a lip liner. And also, when the lipstick fades, there's always like a hint of color behind, and it just doesn't look like you have nothing on your lips. Okay, and then if it looks like it's too harsh, which I went a little overboard, again, this is a tip from Eyeliner. Just take your finger and just kind of rub it in. Now this one, once it sets, it sets. So you gotta work quick. So as you can see, it just looks a little bit more soft. And the lipstick that I'm going to use today is this one here. It's an oldie but goodie. It's one of my favorites in my collection, and it's the L'Oreal, and it's the 800. I hope they still make this, because you know how L'Oreal is, one day it's just gone. So the shade looks like this. It's just such a natural nude, but it's like a pink nude. And I'm going to place that, and it pairs beautifully with this liner. And again, I'm just going to take my finger and blend the two together. I just love this lipstick. Oh, I will always have it in my collection as long as they make it. So that is it, you guys. Yeah, I just gotta work with my little weave here. But that is it. So as you can see, like when I close my eye now and I'm relaxed, you can still see the eyeshadow. I mean, I definitely, even though it looked so crazy, I could have went even a little higher. These are the things that I can tell like afterwards, but when you're applying it, it just looks so loud and over the top. But as you can see, it's worked its way to where everything just blends together. I don't think I would be very comfortable going out to the grocery store with my makeup like this. I don't feel like it's over the top at all. I love the underpainting, even, you know, like I mentioned, it's such an old technique. It's been around for years. And yeah, I mean, and this eyeliner thing, you guys, just this piece of hair is driving me crazy. That eyeliner trick is just so much easier. You know, if you fight with the eyeliner, just stop, because it's not worth it. It's not worth the aggravation, the time, the frustration, or anything. You know, you can get, you know, a pretty decent little wing and be happy with it. All right, you guys, that is finally the end of today's video. This has been a video I've been wanting to do for a very long time. I knew it was going to be very time consuming for you to watch, but I just have like a lot of things I find when I do my regular videos, I tend to try to, you know, tell you, but then I end up cutting a lot of it out because the video was just too long. So hopefully this won't be too crazy. All right, you guys, thanks so much for being here. I absolutely love hanging out with you guys. Oh, I did want to ask you, right in the comment section, what is your favorite mascara? Because I'm always on the hunt for really good mascara. I will tell you the Essence ones do not work for me. So, but any other ones, I would love to hear what's your favorite. Even if it is Essence, you know, I would love to hear it is, you know, that it is your favorite. All right, you guys, that is the end of today's video. If you did enjoy, please hit that like button. It truly helps me out. I'll play some more videos here if you guys have some time and want to check out any of my other content. I'll place a little playlist somewhere around here. All right, you guys, I can't wait to see you again. I love you so much. And until next time.